I'm particularly excited about this last stop of our tour to go to Ohio, because Ohio is a state from which a lot of the great ideas around community development have come from. Hey, how are you? Good to meet you. All right, it's started already!
There are more patents, still to this day, more patents that were pulled out from citizens of Dayton than any other city. The NCR left, National Cash Register. The cash register was invented in Dayton.
Wow.
Well, Wright brothers, a lot of auto inventions came out of Dayton. Everything closed down. There's like 2,000 jobs. There used to be 40,000. Globalization really hit Dayton. Dayton in Northeast Ohio. Incredibly hard. Never recovered. What goes around comes around. We are having a series of regional membership meetings that we do in conjunction with our partner, the Ohio Housing Finance Agency. And so this time we're in Springfield, Ohio, which is roughly halfway between Columbus and Dayton. And we're going to have many of our members visit from those metro markets and also from the rural members as well. And it's to introduce them to our programs, to have networking opportunities for members to learn from one another.
I just want to echo the fact that, as you heard mentioned, it's important that you stay connected with the association. That this is a time, and all of you know this and feel this, when people need to come together. And it's heartening to hear that the membership of the Ohio Association is actually growing. You're going to hit 200 or so soon. There's another member that just joined. This is a trend that we're actually seeing around the country.
We're in the village of Yellow Springs, population about 4,000. It's a very progressive community with a vast history. It contributed to the community land trust movement as well as other social justice movements. It's home to Antioch University. We're going to go eat at the Winds, which is known for its local foods. We're coming up on the office of our board chair, Steve Torsell, Homes on the Hill, and their offices are in what essentially amounts to a shuttered mall, which is endemic of what's happened a lot across the country with commercial overbuilding. One thing that they're looking at is there's going to be a casino built over here, which will probably result in some adaptive reuse of this shuttered mall space, but long term, they don't really know what's going to happen to it.
It's so bizarre.
The community wants to see home ownership. People who own homes want to see home ownership. And as they've lived in these neighborhoods and watched properties become vacant and watched their values decline, they feel almost helpless in terms of what they can do.
So you've seen the
I've seen the good and the bad.
You've seen the good, bad, and the ugly.
Yeah.
So
up and down.
Is this a unique time?
Yes. Yeah, this is a unique time because in the past, when we've had economic downturns, I don't think they've been as significant, and it's compounded by the fact that I guess you say all of the chickens that were kind of hanging out for the last 20 years have all come to roost at one time. And it's particularly concerning for us in the state of Ohio, and I think those of you who know about the state of Ohio understand the severe economic realities that the state has. And whenever we've had economic problems before, they've never been this serious. Potentially all CDCs, whether you're an economic development-based organization or a housing-based organization, maybe even if you're not a CDC, some other types of organizations that work in that. Yes, I think we have a great deal of potential to help in those areas, but I think ultimately it comes down to analyzing your own particular part of the world and what can you do. Here we are with 5 or 6 employees, all spread out doing 1,000 different things it seems like, but we're still able to focus on those kind of things. And it only works because of connections and contacts. So if I'm talking to other people in other areas about what you can do, I say look around and see where the need is, see how you can help other people or how they can help you, and if you partner up and collaborate, we can make a significant difference, and that's how we'll do it. I have a lot of favorite movies. My
Oh.
son's a real movie fan, but probably if I was to pick one, I'd pick Little Big Man with Dustin Hoffman. Have you seen Little Big Man?
April in Ohio. All right, so Nate, we're going to go and talk to some folks at the Youngstown.
Neighborhood Development Corporation.
Okay.
It's a new CDC that was formed by the foundation community here.
How are you?
Good,
Presley
good.
Gillespie.
Great to meet you.
Nice to
Same
meet you.
you.
In the Midwest, there's been a lot of cities that have suffered from that post-industrial decline, and we were one of them. So as we saw our population decline over many years, over that 30, 40-year period after really the closure of one of our largest steel mills in the late 70s, there had really been no plan to really update how we do things, particularly looking at the city's infrastructure and looking at the services that are provided and looking at what's going on in the neighborhoods. Our population shrunk from, I think it peaked at close to 170,000, back in probably the 50s, and it had shrunk to literally, south of 70,000 by the year 2000. And so we were one of the first cities to recognize and embrace and actually adopt the mindset that we are, in fact, a shrinking city. I grew up the first part of my life in Harlem, New York City. And so I came from a very, very much inner city neighborhood, and I recognize the challenges and dynamics of inner city neighborhoods. And through professional and training, I understand the challenges of getting capital to those neighborhoods. So early on, I decided, didn't want to just be another banker, wanted to try to do what I can to help folks and families in inner city neighborhoods while also trying to take care of my own family. But as the market began to change and the quote unquote collapse, a lot of things changed. A lot of the bank's philosophies had to change. A lot of the credit culture had to change. And as that all changed, we began to I felt I was getting more away from, again, going back to the heart of my mission and the heart of my interest in serving that inner city community. And as things changed, I began to realize that I'm not enjoying this as much as I did at one point, and I think I began to feel that it's time for a change for me, from career-wise. Youngstown is home to me, that's where I'm staying. And so when this opportunity came up, clearly I worked at the time for a $100 billion company. And the thought of a startup was a little scary, as you might imagine. And I've financed many startups over the years, so I know what the statistics look like. And at the end of the day, when my daughter says, what do you do every day? What do you do for, I can tell her, we help people. We help change lives. We help transform neighborhoods. We help provide healthier conditions for people to raise their families in. That's what it's all about. And that really, quite frankly, is the mission of YNDC, to transform vulnerable and transitional and disinvested neighborhoods into what we call healthy neighborhoods.
What is it like to be doing community organizing in the town where you grew up? Do you see people that you...
You do, but you see people like people's parents. Most of the people that I grew up with here are gone. I mean, every one of my good friends that has a college degree does not live in Youngstown. They don't live in the region. They've gone to Chicago, they've gone to LA, they've gone to New York, they've gone to Florida. They've gone all over the place. I mean, thus, Youngstown's gone from 170,000 people to 68,000 people, a lot largely due to the economic collapse, which continues to pull young minds out of the city.
Right here to the left, that red brick building right there, this is the site of a former school that was demolished. This is the site that we selected and recommended to the city to bring in the new grocery store. We've termed our urban agriculture program
Lots
of green, right? We had, over a course of a weekend, over 100 people come out and paint this mural.
So we're going to Marie's Restaurant. We're the near east side of Cleveland. It's an establishment that's been around for decades, and we're going to get some good Cleveland comfort food.
We've just spent a lot of time in the car.
Yeah, we've spent the last day and a half, and I've enjoyed it.
We want to
I've
get
enjoyed
everything
it.
you said in the car now on
So
camera.
if you could summarize all of that.
Ohio is as different and diverse as our country is. And so I was born in southeast Ohio, which is Appalachia, and 32 counties of our 88 are Appalachian. And then in the southern part of the state is more similar to to the southern part of our country and the Bible Belt, if you will, and the western part of our state represents the plains, and in the northeast has a more eastern feel and cosmopolitan feel of the East Coast, and demographically and topographically, and in many ways, Ohio represents and is probably the most keen microcosm of a state in our great United States. This state is one of the fathers of the community development industry, especially where we are now in Cleveland. And there's a steep history. Many of those people are still in the industry, and we've, as an industry, we've constantly reacted to those challenges and are doing what I think is an incredible job. Last 36 hours, we've been traveling across the state with Yellow Springs, Springfield, Columbus, and Youngstown, and Cleveland. And I know you and Frank feel the same way, but it is inspirational to see what our members are doing, and I need to do it more and get out and see what's happening. I think I do a pretty good job of that, but that's part of us telling the story. We need to show people what our members are doing, and in the face of just what many would feel is insurmountable odds.
We're getting ready to meet with Jim Anderson, the CEO of the Evergreen Cooperative Laundry, which is an initiative started by the Cleveland Foundation and other community-based organizations to create employee-owned businesses.
How you doing? Fine, and you? Come here.
You don't have the real experience of being a Browns fan. If we're going to stabilize the neighborhoods, 500 jobs aren't going to do it. It's going to take 5,000 jobs. Okay, and so we need to keep, but I think small business is really at the heart of economic development, and we believe for the future this kind of an organization, this kind of a worker-owned cooperative, anchored in the community, serving the community with goods and services in the local community is what can create a number of small businesses, 50, 100 at size each one. And when you get it sized well enough and they grow enough companies to stabilize the neighborhood, grocery stores open up. Now one of the opportunities we see down the road is there's a lot of vacant buildings and homes in this community. Why not have a cooperative that buys those homes, refurbishes them, puts them in a home bank, and as these employees in their 8th year where they got $65,000 in their accounts, now maybe they can take some money out and buy one of those homes. And and keep it circulating, and so really stabilize the neighborhoods real time in their lifetime. So we see that as a great opportunity.
Do you get enough laundry to keep these machines going? Do you have?
Well, we can use some more clients.
You could get some more customers.
Well, yes, we can definitely use some more clients.
Okay,
so if you guys know someone that needs a linen done, any nursing home,
yeah.
We are here. Because I like to call this the little laundry that
good.
could. Because we are up against the giants.
The trip has come to an end, and we've met the most important woman in my life. Meet Zoe. Zoe's 6.5. Hey, Zoe.
We're about to go home. Tell us what you think. Success or failure?
It's a big success. We saw, Yellow Spring, Columbus, Springfield, Youngstown, a little bit of Boardman when we got lost looking for the restaurant, and then a good part of Cleveland today. And it really felt like if it weren't for the community development organizations that are there and the people that are working, that things could be a lot worse there. The last couple of trips we've taken, it feels at the end of each trip like, yes, I get a sense of what's going on there, and then every time you get to a new trip, you realize, oh, no, there's still a lot more to it. And so I'm trying to prevent, not to get that feeling like I know it all after this trip and realize that I learned a lot on this trip and there's still more.